Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Sportsballin, your home for all things sports. My name is Ethan Markham, and as always, I'm joined by Connor Smith and Jace Vincent. You guys ready to talk some ball?
Absolutely. Got a lot to talk about. Got the Final Four, national title tonight, so a lot of good things to talk about.
Yeah, very, very exciting time for sports. Best day of the week, Monday, talking ball with my boys. Let's get after it.
Absolutely. This past Saturday, our national championship matchup was decided in the Final Four. Michigan blew past Arizona 91-73, and UConn beat Illinois 71-62.
I think it was Jace who said that Arizona-Michigan would be the national championship. If that's the case, I hope he's wrong. That was an absolute blowout. I mean, Michigan dominated the game from start to finish. Didn't have Jace Lindeborg for essentially the entire game and still won by 18 points.
Yeah, no, and they came out and dominated, and I love the fact that Dusty May is probably one of the more innovative coaches in the country. He's working with the talent that he's got, and the fact that before the game that he had his team practicing in the big house, working on a moving rim to get adjusted to the depth perception. So I think that stuff like that is just, and they just out-physical in Arizona. They just beat them really bad.
Really bad, but
Well,
that's about how they beat everybody.
I was meaning like physically, they just beat them down.
I mean, they've scored 90 or more in every game. I mean, they've just been on a heater. I hope that it's not what the national title is going to look like, but I mean, I don't know. It's going to be tough. They've just beat up on everybody. But if you look over at UConn, that's the thing. They've played a lot of great teams. And when they've played, it's been the exact opposite. It's been a lot closer, a lot tighter games.
Yeah, I honestly kind of feel like the score doesn't actually represent how the game went. I mean, it was a competitive game, but you always kind of felt that UConn had the edge, that UConn was going to beat Illinois.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think also there's just a lot of talk about Illinois and the fact that we could get an all Big Ten national title in that way, and I think Illinois still was a really good team.
Oh, yeah.
I just think that UConn in itself is just, they're used to being in that scenario in the Final Four and the Elite Eight in the second weekend in that area, and that they have that kind of championship DNA where they can win those big moments.
Yeah, I mean, I think this was Illinois' first time in the Final Four since, 2004?
Something like that.
And UConn's been there 7 times in the last, feels like 10 years. It's not actually been that, but it's been a lot. Like you said, a lot of veteran experience versus guys that have been there for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, this is their third trip to the national championship in 4 years. I mean, that gives you a lot of experience, makes you a lot more comfortable. But that's really where I feel like this matchup, what a lot of people aren't talking about, Dusty May versus Dan Hurley. I mean, we've seen Dan Hurley over the years has been just such a great coach at UConn. I think it's closer than we expect it to be.
I could see it.
I don't want you to think that I think it's going to be like a 3-point game or anything.
Well,
but
no,
I don't think they're
no.
going to win by double digits.
No. I mean, but I do think UConn has what it takes to stay competitive. I mean, they played a team in Illinois that not quite as physical, but they're the tallest team in college basketball. Still a pretty physical team, tough team, coached by Brad Underwood, and they held their own. So I mean, they'll have to make shots, but I think they show that they're capable of staying up physically.
Yeah, and I think that UConn in some of those ways can play defensively to hold Michigan to where, I mean, Michigan's been on a heater. I mean, they've been scoring over 90 points a game in the tournament. They've been scoring at about the rates where they were shooting easily over 45% in almost every game. Mm-hmm. But I think UConn defensively, they can make it a ball game. The spread's around 7.5 or so anywhere you look. So, I mean, I feel like UConn can definitely play it down to a 1 or 2 possession game in that sense.
Yeah. I'll tell you 2 things that are going to play a big role. Now, obviously, they're going to give it a go. They're going to try to at least play. But UConn's Solo Ball and then, of course, Jace Lindeborg from Michigan, both injured, severe injuries. Solo Ball was in a boot yesterday, did not practice. And then Jace, I believe it was a sprained MCL, correct?
I will add on to that, though. Neither of them were on the availability report for the game, so neither of them.
Well, of course, they're going to give it a go.
Well, yeah, of course.
That doesn't mean they're close to 100%.
No. And Jace Lindeborg, he only played 15 minutes against Arizona. So, I mean, I think that they'll both play, and, I mean, you love it. You get both of the team's best players on the biggest stage. Yeah.
I would say that hurts UConn a lot more than it's going to hurt Michigan, though.
100%.
I mean, Michigan's just such a stacked team that without Lindeborg, even though he's averaging just under 20 points in the tournament, without him, Michigan's fine. But without Solo Ball, I don't know about how I feel about UConn.
Yeah, I mean, he's their – I don't want to say veteran because he's not one of those Alex Caravan guys that have been here for – feels like 10 years, but he's a junior, so he's got some years under his belt. He's a good point guard, or not point guard, but guard in general. This thing that I'm really looking forward to that I think is going to decide the game is down low in the post with Ade Mara and Terrace Reed Jr. Both those guys have had fantastic March Madness and I guess now April Madnesses, but averaging a double-double You know, Mara had, I believe it was 26 last game. Reed's been really big for them the entire way. So obviously you got to stop Michigan from shooting the threes, but that's going to be a really big matchup.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I would think that is, to your point, I think that's the matchup. You look at their stats from the previous game. Mara 26-9 for Reed at 17-11. They're going to be good. I think, though, that it does come down to the three ball, and I think Michigan's going to, like I said, I think it's closer than we expect, but I don't think UConn keeps up for long.
No, it's kind of similar to that Alabama game where you know that Michigan's going to win it, but, you know, UConn stays in it. It's a 10, 12-point game most of the way.
Absolutely. So that's all we've got, but when we return, we will have Tennessee baseball and a new NCAA eligibility ruling after this.
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that I would never be able to get over it and that my kids wouldn't have a father.
Crippling depression, anxiety, exhaustion.
I was in prison and her mom had a heart attack.
There's a lot of institutional issues and challenges that suggest to us that dads aren't essential, and I've always rejected that.
Sometimes you don't have to know everything about being a dad. You just gotta be there.
This past weekend, Tennessee lost their second straight series in SEC play, this time against LSU, giving the Tigers their first series win in Knoxville since 2016. And this series was yet another example of UT just not being able to close things out this season.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that meme from KSR. It happened again. Tennessee's bullpen blows it once again. Between game one and game three, they allowed 21 earned runs. Of course, 15 of that came on Sunday, so the stats are a little bit skewed, but still. I mean, you're looking at a series where the Vols should have at least taken 2 of 3, maybe even swept, and they come out losing the series.
This is, I'll tell you, talking about not being able to close things out, the last 2 Sundays alone, Tennessee's bullpen's allowed 32 runs. On the Sundays alone, 32 runs. So you allow 4 home runs to one guy, you're up 5-0, mind you, and then it's just solo home run. It's like chip away, chip away, chip away. And that speaks more of LSU. I mean, these are 2 teams that coming into today or coming into the weekend, they were like mid, but they shouldn't be mid.
Yeah.
But now if you're Tennessee and you're Josh Elan, now you got to kind of look in the mirror. You have to look at guys that you should start, like K. Mappenzeller, maybe get him to start instead of being in the bullpen.
I would agree with that. Appenzeller is one of the few bright spots from this series, and it's tough for Tennessee because at many points it really felt like they should have had a sweep. I mean, they were leading for most of game 1. They obviously won game 2. They were leading for the majority of game 3. Just couldn't close things out. By the way, thank you for referencing the KSR. It happened again.
I will say, I saw a stat that said that Tennessee, through the first 7 innings of all 3 games against LSU, they outscored them 13-3.
Yeah.
And then in the back third, they got outscored like 21-3 or 21-6 or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the issue because you look at game 1 and game 3 with the starting pitchers. Landon Mack and Evan Blanco combined for 13 1/3 innings of 3-run baseball. Offense wasn't great, but it was good enough to get the series win, and then the bullpen just completely blows it. I mean, that was atrocious. It
was maybe the worst bullpen performance that I can at least remember ever seeing. So just a tough situation for Tennessee. NIL and the transfer portal have been so out of control that now even the White House is getting involved as President Trump has signed an executive order that allows athletes only 1 free transfer as undergraduates and a little bit more.
Yeah, there's several things in his fixed collegiate athletics executive order. The 2 big things, one you mentioned, 1 transfer as an undergrad, and then you can get a second one as a grad transfer, but also a 5-year eligibility window, and that's what we need. I mean, you have so many guys that get injured over and over, and they play for 6, 7, 8 years of college football. Don't laugh. Don't laugh.
He looked at me. And
yeah, that's on me. But still,
continue.
I think it's necessary. I mean, I'm not necessarily thrilled that President Trump is getting into college athletics with the state of the world as it is, but I think it was definitely the right move. I mean, these are 2 things that had to happen to get college sports back on the right track.
Look, as much as we don't want politics to get involved in sports, I mean, it feels like anytime the NCAA tries to do something, then they just get sued, and then they can't do anything because you can't physically stop a student from transferring to another school. Like, you can't do any of that. But I mean, I'm fine with the 5 years to play 5 seasons rule. I think that 5 years is enough for someone to be in college and play a sport. So
I'm big on the, limiting transfers. You get, for me, you get one transfer, right? And then after that, you got to wait a year if you try again. I think that's
how it is, yeah.
I think that's the way, that's how it used to be. I think it should still be like that. That I really agree with. I'm not big on the 5 years part.
Why is that?
Because we're going to run into the same issue of having guys who are, 24 or 25 playing against 18-year-old kids. It's going to happen.
for one thing too, what's really stopping a kid from not even like entering the transfer portal, but like just unenrolling from a school and just enrolling in another one?
You clearly have not been paying attention to college sports the last 2 weeks because the NCAA is putting a rule in.
I love it.
Where
what are you talking about?
Where if you unenroll, then I think it's 20 or 30% revenue loss for that sport, and the head and the coaches get half of your penalty.
It's the coach gets suspended for half the season,
Yes.
and then you lose like 20% of your athletic budget.
Yes. I want to add something to that I thought was
your,
crazy.
Your face is.
That's crazy.
It's how it should be.
I know, I agree. It's just like, that's like
And I love that because
NCAA finally showing some backbone.
Yes.
I love it because it doesn't go after the players because you can't go after the players anymore for anything. So you go after the coach and you go after the university. So
Yeah.
I love it. People you can go after.
You go after the money line, that'll get you there. And now we'll go over to hear what's going on outside of the studio for the word on the street on Sportsballin.
What's up, everybody? It's Maggie with Sportsballin. Today we're seeing which athletes students will start, bench, and cut. We're here with
Benjamin Joseph Buckley Jr.
Okay, Ben, you're going to tell me which of these athletes you're going to start, bench, and cut. Okay, we're going to start out with the AUSL. Okay. We got Jocelyn Allo, Jada Coleman, and Tiara Jennings.
All right, so that's kind of easy because all 3 of them are my favorite people. But the first one, I'm going to probably bench Jocelyn only because her record lately has not been good. And then Tiara, honestly, I think I might start and then cut the last one because I don't remember her name.
Okay, there you go. Okay, now we got some women's soccer players, okay? We got Alex Morgan, Sam Kerr, and Ada Hegerberg.
I'm going to cut Ada Hegerberg. I'm going to bench Alex Morgan, and I'm going to start Sam Kerr.
Okay. Okay, Mia Hamm, Abby Wambach, and Bridget Prinz.
I'm going to have to start Mia Hamm. I'm going to cut Bridget Prinz, and I'm going to bench Abby Weinbach.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, starting off strong, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Patrick Mahomes.
Start Tom Brady, bench Peyton Manning, cut Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, I agree. Babe Ruth, Barry Bonds, Hank Aaron. He's a Braves fan, so he better answer this correctly.
Yeah, we're starting Hank. I'm cutting Babe. And then the third was
Barry Bonds.
Oh no! I know. I'm starting. I love Hank, but I'm starting Barry, and then we'll bench Hank, and then we'll cut Babe.
Okay. Paige Beckers, Caitlin Clark, and Angel Reese.
Okay, I feel like we'll start Angel, and then we'll say the names again.
Paige Beckers, Caitlin Clark, and Angel Reese.
Okay, and then we'll bench Caitlin, and then what was the last one?
Cut.
We'll cut.
Cut Paige? Okay, that's interesting. Okay. I'm here with
Mercy.
Okay, Mercy, you're going to tell me which of these athletes you're going to start, bench, and cut from the NBA, okay? Okay. We got LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Kawhi Leonard.
Okay, I'm going to start LeBron, I'm going to cut Kevin, and then I'm going to bench Kawhi.
Okay. Let me give you another one. Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, and Allen Iverson.
Okay. Start Kobe, R.I.P. Bench, who's my second option?
Dwayne Wade and Allen Iverson.
Okay, then I would bench and then cut in that order.
Okay. Which of these NBA athletes you're going to start, bench, and cut, okay? Okay, we're going to start off with LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Kawhi Leonard.
Cut Kawhi. Yo, honestly, start KD. I like his burner accounts a lot. I like what he has to say. What do you think?
Start with LeBron. Cut the same guy that he's
Cut the same guy. And then what was the other one? Cut, start,
bench.
And bench the one that's left.
Students had some interesting takes here today, but who am I to judge? Back to you in the studio.
Welcome back. It's time for our hot takes of the week. And Jace, we'll start with you.
Well, my hot take, we'll start things off. And I think that Tennessee, from how bad their defense was last year, it'll end up being a top 3 defense in the SEC this year. Why? I love the addition of Jim Knowles. Usually his schemes take about a year or 2 to implement. I think in year 1 they'll get it down. I think that they can manage it. And I think that their key additions, Xavier Gilliam, Amari Campbell, Chaz Coleman, if he's even on the team still.
What?
But from what we've heard. But if Chaz Coleman is still there, I love that they can make moves on defense and finish in the top, at least top 5. They can work to a top 3 defense, I believe, this year for Tennessee.
I don't hate it. I think you got to put 1 and 2 with Texas and Georgia, and then that next year of like Alabama, Tennessee. It's definitely doable. And you know the thing about Jim Knowles is his system takes a year or 2 to get into place, but he brought over people at each level from Penn State with D-line, linebacker, safety. So I think it's going to expedite that process. I'm buying it.
I agree. I think the thing that really holds it together, though, is actually getting back Arion Carter, because they were expecting him to go to the draft. You know, enters the portal for like 2 days and then he's back. I think Arion Carter really is the glue of that defense. I think if everybody stays healthy, because that was the issue with Tennessee last year, if everybody stays healthy, absolutely, I think they're a top 3 defense. And
I agree also 100% is that the corners would be the big issue, and I think they can fix that.
Connor?
I think Dan Hurley, by the end of his career, will be a top 5 head coach in college basketball history. It took him a minute to build up his brand and get UConn back to where they're at, but over the last 5 seasons, they are 149-37 with 3 Final Four appearances, 2 national championships, and could be a 3rd tonight. He's just now 53 years old, so you got to figure he's got at least another 10 years left in him. I'd be shocked if he doesn't win at least 1 or 2 more national championships. You know, with the pace that he's on, I think he'll definitely be a top 5 coach of all time.
I agree 100%. I mean, this is now his 3rd national title appearance in 4 years, and I wouldn't be shocked if they won it. So I agree.
There's really no reason to disagree with it. I mean, he's just been, the resume's stacked. He's going to continue to, you know, I don't think UConn's one of those programs that, like, for instance, Duke is not what Duke used to be. And you can see Duke is like, they bring in top-tier talent, but they consistently are, there's like a slope, you know? I don't think UConn's even close to, there's no fall-off with them. This was supposed to be a down year for them, and look at this. They're in the national championship. I don't think there's any way to argue.
I'll ask you a question. Who do you think will finish as a better head coach all the time, Rick Pitino or Dan Hurley?
Dan Hurley.
Pure coaching, Rick Pitino. Just pure coach.
I think legacy as far as your resume goes, I think Dan Hurley.
Dan Hurley for this era, but also I think Rick Pitino is a better pure coach. It's like the argument we had with Oates and Rick Barnes. Rick Barnes is a better pure coach, but Oates is more successful.
I'll take that. I do think Barnes is better, but you know we're never going to agree on that. But no, to answer your question, yeah, Dan Hurley. That's where I would go. So, okay. Now, for me, this is probably not that big of a hot take because, you know, whatever. But I think Indiana's going to miss the playoffs next season, and I think they're going to take a slight step back. Now, I don't think it's going to be anything bad. What?
Slight step back.
It's a slight step back. Look, you go from you can't expect every team to consistently make it. Look, here's the deal. They got 17 incoming transfers.
Yeah, but they're all elite.
It's still hard to get talent to consistently mesh together, and they're in what I hate to say is the toughest conference in college football right now is the Big Ten. Let's be honest. I mean, they're just stacked. I say stacked. It's top-heavy, but still. You lose Mendoza, you lose Surratt, Cooper Jr., Fisher. I mean, you lose a lot of good talent from that team. I'm not saying they're going to be bad. I think any game that they do lose, I think it's going to be close, obviously. I don't think they're going to, pull a Tennessee where they lose 5 games and don't beat a ranked team. But I don't think, I don't think they're at that point yet where we can consistently expect them every season to go, 10-2 or 11-1.
I think you can. Now, obviously, you're going to take a step back from last season just because last season was
16-0.
Yeah, 16-0 and one of the best teams of all time. You're never going to have a team like that because they executed at such an elite level that I don't think anyone's ever done it like that. They'll take a step back. They're not missing the playoff. Come on, dude. They'll be like the 9 seed.
I don't think that they'll miss the playoffs either. I think that also, they have another tough schedule this year, but their toughest games kind of align. Like they have Ohio State this year, but they play them at home. So I think that they'll have games like that that can kind of like bounce in their favor, and they could probably win. And but it's all whatever. But I think they'll still make the playoffs. Probably like a 10-2 type team.
Yeah, without a doubt, 10-2.
Yeah.
I mean,
not more.
Tough schedule. Tough schedule.
Yeah, but like you got to look at, they lost their pieces, right? I get it.
Yeah, no, they brought in a lot of great talent,
Yes.
but I mean, you have to get that talent to mesh together, and it doesn't always work out.
The only way I could see that happening where they miss the playoffs is if Josh Hoover just goes off the rails and is nowhere near what would they expect him to be, which is just not going to happen.
And on that, Josh Hoover's honestly, low-key, in college, might be a better pure passing quarterback than Fernando Mendoza.
All right, so that's.
Are we serious?
Pure passer quarterback.
Are we serious?
Josh Hoover?
Are we serious?
I thought he was going to stop at Josh Hoover's low-key in college, so I was terrified as to where this was going to go. But we'll be back here in a moment where we'll have our favorite segment. It's Connor's Question right after this.
Miss Lee, this is Agent Williams from the tax office. Our records show an unpaid balance on your account. If you don't pay by end of day, you'll be facing jail time. Well, the fastest way to fix this is with a prepaid debit card. Can you go get one now? Yes, and we want to clear this up. If you just buy that prepaid card, put $400 on it, then call me back and read the numbers to me.
The moment they ask for a prepaid card is the moment you know something's wrong. Think before you send money. Learn more at scamawareness.org.
We all play a role in keeping our community safe.
Every day, we move in and out of each other's busy lives.
It's easy to take for granted all the little moments that make up our everyday.
Some are good, others not so much.
But that's life.
It's when something doesn't seem quite right that it's time to pay attention.
Because only you know what's not supposed to be in your everyday.
So protect your everyday.
If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
My son Aiden has asthma. Secondhand smoke has triggered his asthma so bad to the point where he had to end up in the emergency room. And he has spent multiple nights in intensive care. Now he's on a whole bunch of medications. My tip to you is, don't be shy to tell people not to smoke around your kids.
For free help, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
I was trying to fix all the things that were going on. Ryan's daydreaming, an inability to focus.
It was just frustrating to get my mom to understand what I was going through.
So that's when we talked to a doctor, and she was diagnosed with ADHD. It just explained so many things for us.
Hyperactivity isn't the only symptom of ADHD. Inattentive symptoms like Ryan's can be less noticeable. Learn more. Get the ADHD symptom checklist at keepmomming.com. Then talk with your daughter's doctor.
Keep momming.
It's now time for Connor's Question. And Connor, what do you have for us this week?
Thanks, Ethan. This week we have, is Danny White the guy for Tennessee? You know, even a year ago, we'd look at this and say, he's an elite athletic director. He made a good hire with Josh Heupel, but even that program is looking stale. Kim Caldwell's gone off the ropes, and he's starting to piss off all the fan base with these random taxes for the talent fee where it's not going anywhere because they haven't bought any players. So he's slowly going downhill. I don't think he's the guy.
Thank you.
But what do you guys think?
This rant sounds awfully familiar. I wonder if you heard it from someone recently.
He's not the guy. Hashtag everything school. Hashtag everything school. There we go.
Broke it.
Hashtag everything school for Danny White. Let's see here. Women's basketball, they don't even have a player on their roster. Let's see here.
Coming in?
The only thing that really matters is, for them right now is men's basketball because that's what they're putting money into. But football, they're just mid. Is there, outside of men's basketball, tell me one sport that is good for Tennessee?
Softball.
Okay.
But like besides that,
what are you trying to say?
Football is good, but the program is becoming
Softball was
stale.
good before Danny White got there.
Baseball,
yeah.
Tough season under Josh Elander, and they're not even spending money with Rick Barnes. So they're not taking advantage of the coaching opportunity.
These are the hires that Danny White has made. Josh Heupel, good hire.
Yes.
We'll look at it that way. Josh Elander, we'll see. I don't think he should be fired.
It's too early.
Kim Caldwell, in over her head. Cheeks.
Wow. Push the button.
She sucks at her job. That's
Cheeks,
true.
I know, but Cheeks is crazy. I saw the question come up, and to quote Butch Jones, I thought, man, where do I start? the talent fee is crazy. We're paying, he's outpriced the fan base. The Wine and Cheese Club is always full, but the stands are not. So his donor friends are always buying up a lot of the ticket spaces. It's just, we're not winning in anything, but he keeps tweeting everything school. No, he's not the guy. Anyone else could be the guy.
But see, what pisses me off is that he's tweeting everything school under like a women's swim and dive post and saying hashtag everything school. Nobody cares.
He reminds me a lot of the Cubs owners with the Ricketts family, where they have all this money, but they're too worried about making a business out of it than fielding championship teams.
Our basketball team will get blown out by 32, and then he'll retweet like the chess club takes a 3-1 victory, and he'll go everything school. Like it's infuriating.
Hey, but they are getting a entertainment plaza.
Yippee!
And Neyland Stadium powered by Pilot.
Bang. That's all we've got for Connor's question, but stick around as we wrap things up with our picks for the week here in a moment.
I don't remember how it started. Our back and forth. It always came back. Dad! You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the-right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
And we're here at our last segment for the night, our picks for the week, starting off with the Preds and the Kings. Jace.
I'll take the Preds, actually. They've been on a little bit of, they won a couple games in a row now on the West Coast, so give me the Preds to beat the Kings again.
Just for the love of the game, give me Preds.
I want to take the Preds as well, trying to make that playoff push. Tough one. Tennessee and Mississippi State.
Well, it's an SEC team that's not Missouri, so give me Mississippi State.
Give me Mississippi State, but as Ethan said off the air, Tennessee will lead through the 6th inning, and then the bullpen blows it.
Give me Mississippi State, but I think Tennessee somehow wins one game in there just to give us all hope so we can be let down again. MTSU and Louisiana Tech.
Louisiana Tech for all the reasons that you just said about Tennessee.
Yeah, I mean, MTSU and Tennessee are quite literally the same team. Solid starting pitching, good offense. Bullpen's just been lackluster lately. So give me La Tech to take 2 of 3.
I'm going to take La Tech, but again, like you said, I think Middle Tennessee wins one game in there, but they will be leading in each game at least after 6 innings, and then it'll fall apart. And for the national championship, UConn and Michigan.
Man, here we go. I'm going to pick.
Tough pick.
It's a tough pick. I'm going Michigan. But UConn will cover.
Tough pick. Really tough pick.
I really want to pick UConn just because I love Hurley. I think he's the best coach in the sport right now. This is a historically good team. Give me Michigan to cover.
Ethan, nobody's picking UConn. You got to do it, but you got to save the graphic.
You're not supposed to say that. It's supposed to be
you know what? For the love of the game, give me UConn. Just so that we're not all agreeing. That's all the time that we have for tonight. We thank you for tuning in. Remember to look for all future episodes of Sportsballin on YouTube and Blue Raider TV every week on Tuesday. For Connor Smith and Jace Vincent, I'm Ethan Markham. We'll see you around. Good night.